The Open Mic Podcast is brought to you by Mechanics Bank. Mechanics Bank is here to help you with everyday life, whether that's buying a home, renovating a kitchen, or paying for college. They have the products and, more importantly, the people to help you breathe easy and say, oh, that's better. Check out mymechanics.com, call or visit today to see how they can make banking better for you. Mechanics Bank is an equal housing lender. And with that, I get to welcome everyone listening to the Open Mic Podcast. I am thrilled to have the four people in Bravada who are a part of the Fun Center Chordsmen. We're going to talk a little bit about a cappella and my interest in a cappella as well as yours, how it's sort of ebbing and flowing in popularity. We'll call it that for right now. And most importantly, I'm joined by 3 Hall of Famers and 1 soon-to-be Hall of Famer. How's that for potential?
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Can we go around the table and introduce ourselves and your part?
Yeah, my name is Dan Crow. I sing the bass part.
My name's Jim Fry, and I sing the tenor part.
My name's Trevor Gerbrandt, and I sing the lead part.
My name's R.F. Miller, and I sing the baritone.
Excellent, excellent. And so talk to me a little bit. I don't care who goes first here. How did you guys get involved or interested in a cappella?
Well, I guess I'll start. My interest in a cappella started probably in high school. And my high school choir director put a few guys together, even when I was in junior high, and we sang an a cappella piece for a solo ensemble that year in junior high, and it kind of just took off with me, and I've grown from there in a cappella music.
Awesome. I did high school a cappella too. I was in 2 different groups, and I just thought it was a blast. I mean, it's a really awesome way to sort of learn how to harmonize. I think that's really sort of been one of the skills that I still carry today in my band that includes instruments now. But I think that that's definitely one of the things that I've picked up or held on to, more importantly. But also just the camaraderie that comes with hanging out with like your guys in an a cappella group, or if it's a mixed group, of course. Anyone else want to talk about how they got involved with the a cappella group?
Yeah, I came to visit one of our chapter rehearsals one night, and just kind of fell in love with the hobby, and it hooked me, and I've been doing it for I think 7 or 8 years now. But no musical background, just was invited by a neighbor to come visit one night, and had a great experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I have actually been to one Fun Center Chordsmen rehearsal because I was doing, I think, a feature story in my first year here. I wasn't like an active participant in the singing, but I was certainly impressed mostly by the quantity of members that you guys have. How many members do you guys have right now?
Go ahead, Bob. Why don't you answer that?
Well, we have on roll, so to speak, registered members, about 40. But I would say 25 to 30 are what we would consider being active. That's showing up for the performances and the Monday night rehearsals.
Yeah, so I think that was just impressive to me because a cappella is sort of a unique thing. I mean, there are a lot of people who can sing or whatever, but to me, I just sort of feel like a cappella is a bit of a lost concept amongst people.
Yeah, well, I would say we actually, as a chorus, I don't want to use the word rebranding, but, barbershop chorus was its starting, point. And I think the connotation has taken on, well, that must mean you must be a bunch of old guys who wear straw hats and sing the old songs.
Which, for the record, are amazing.
For sure. We're not going to knock our history. I mean, we very much, that's part of who we are. But in the time that we're living in today, that a cappella, obviously a little bit more of a term that everybody would relate to. Surely we're looking at an outreach-wise of trying to reach everybody, so high school students all the way through, older gentlemen that can participate in singing like that. So, yeah, a cappella for me I'm late to the game. I was with Trevor. We're both Bowling Green grads in the School of Music.
Me
but
too.
I was an instrumentalist. Major. So I was a high school band director for 15 years. Never sang, never taken a voice lesson. But here about 8 years ago, I was kind of absent from the music world, and I needed something to come back. And I heard the chorus sing at my church that I was at, and got an invitation to attend. And then, like I said, I've been in about 8 years now, and I'm glad I found it.
Yeah. Who are some of the people that you guys sort of look like? I'm really into Vocal Spectrum, which is more of a barbershop quartet, but Straight No Chaser's really popular right now. Talk to me a little bit about some of your inspirations, if you will.
Yeah, there's so many great groups out there right now. Obviously, with the younger generation, Pentatonics is huge.
I've seen them live. They're awesome.
My high school choir is trying to plan a trip down in June to Columbus to go see them together.
Okay.
So so Pentatonics is huge right now, and then for me, more barbershop-wise, Ringmasters from Sweden. Those guys just are amazing. So that's kind of my go-to listens right now. For my old school barbershop, I like the Max Q when they were around in the earlier 2000s, and then if you go really far back, the Suntones were such a great quartet.
Yeah. So Jim, going back to your comment about how you guys have sort of tried to rebrand just a little bit, what was it? Was it just that you guys weren't getting much outreach when it came to barbershop, or participation when it was barbershop?
I'm just hoping it's recognition of term. Again,
Gotcha.
if I'm 21 years old and I hear barbershop, I don't know. Maybe the first thing I'm going to think about is getting my hair cut. But if you don't have knowledge of that, then where is that at for you? As far as your knowledge of music. So, but if you say a cappella, then you think of TV shows that are out right now. There was the one TV show where it was actually groups that would come and sing
off.
That helps us,
Right.
Because people are a little bit more comfortable with wanting to explore this realm. And so we use, again, that term a cappella, I think, just is a more recognizable term and brand, and might draw somebody in.
And for a long time, we were known as the Mansfield Barbershop Harmony Chorus. That's what the trailer says. In the process of minor rebranding, we're now officially branded as the Center Chordsmen a cappella chorus.
Yeah, and I think it's more descriptive of what we do, because why we love the barbershop harmony, and that's kind of our tradition and and the nostalgia about it is something that excites us as members. We sing a lot of different music. We sing a lot of vocal jazz. We sing a lot of doo-wop. We sing different things that are also very interesting to our members. So just being more descriptive about what we actually do is really important for us.
Gotcha. And so what are the sort of songs that you guys are singing now?
Well, we just finished our last show, which was called Guys Night Out.
Okay.
And again, here's trying to use hook phrases and things that would make you intrigued to that sounds kind of interesting. Maybe let's go check that out. And again, we had songs from way back.
Yeah, we had songs from like old style barbershop songs, from Sitting on Top of the World. We had some Disney songs on there. You've Got a Friend in Me was a song we sang on there. And then we actually closed with a pop a cappella group, or a pop a cappella song called Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon. And
Who by the way, just a little off whatever, I found out that they are actually from Knox County. Or at least the lead singer is, or
wow.
someone in the band. Yeah,
Nice. I didn't even know
So I
that.
actually tried to interview them because they were performing in Columbus not too long ago, and they denied me. But maybe someday I'll be big
Yeah,
enough.
that's
The
good.
podcast will be big enough. Anyway, continue.
So we pride ourselves in that we can sing some of the stuff from earlier barbershop days, and then sing some of that new pop a cappella stuff, and we try to bring in high school groups to join us whenever possible, and for that song they sang with us, and the high school group had a beatboxer, so we actually added vocal percussion to it just to show that we can sing a plethora of a cappella music.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great, and I'm sure that it's sort of it's an advertisement, if you will, not to make it sound demeaning or whatever, but for kids who might be looking for things to do
Right.
post-graduation, it only helps you guys in that regard, right?
Yeah, and that's true for the quartet right now too, because again, I'm the newest member to the quartet, but I think recently we're trying to take on one song kind of a year, which is today music. So 2 years ago it was Sing from Pentatonics, and then this past show we just sang Sugar from Maroon 5.
Very good.
So again, for us as a 4-pack, we want to, when we're on the road, have things in our pocket that maybe it's a young crowd and maybe style of music would, really bring in some more excitement. So it's good to just be able to have anything in your arsenal to meet the crowd that's there that night.
Talk to me a little bit about how Bravada got started.
We have
As
the
an
founder
original
with
member.
us.
Okay.
I joined the chorus in 2000, and the only thing I can think of is the reason that I went to their first meeting, or my first rehearsal meeting, was divine intervention. I really had a bad day work-wise, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, I think the barbershop chorus meets on a Monday night. So I made several phone calls and finally found a guy by the name of Dave Crocker who was a member, and he invited me down. And I was hooked, just like Dan. You hear the a cappella sound, the 4-part harmony. It just gets to you. So I joined in 2000, and in 2001, I got the bug to put together a quartet. And within the chorus, it takes, if you want to be in a quartet, somebody's got to make a move to start and form one. You can't just expect the chorus to put you in a quartet. It doesn't work that way. So I asked a friend of mine who sang bass in the church choir with me, asked a couple of more, a tenor and a lead, and so we put together a quartet. Were we any good? Well, not to start with, obviously not. But our coach at the time, Dave Crocker, said after we had rehearsed several times, he said, okay, tonight we're going to introduce you to the chorus, and you're going to sing for the chorus. How do I introduce you? Well, we knew we were going to need a name, so we had made a list of 21 different names. And one of the names on that list was Bravada, because one of the girls at church knew that we were putting together a list. She saw my car, which is a 2002 Oldsmobile Bravada, and she said, I like that name. So we handed the list to Dave Crocker, and he scans it again, and he selects Bravada. And we've been Bravada ever since. The original bass, unfortunately, passed several years ago of cancer. Others have moved away. So when Bob Crowell, the original bass, was not able to sing, we asked Dan if he'd give it a shot. He said yes. When the tenor moved to Tennessee, we asked Jim if he would be willing to take on the challenge. And Trevor joined us in January of 2008. He'd been a member of the chorus for a year. He joined us in 2008. It's the first time we had ever competed because we weren't sure of our sound until Trevor joined us with his background. We competed, and in 2008, Bravada was the novice quartet champion in the Johnny Appleseed district.
Wow, that's impressive.
I just want to make a note. He mentioned his 2002 Oldsmobile Bravada,
Yes.
and our namesake as a quartet. He still drives that car, and it is in mint condition. It is impressive.
Okay.
The way he maintains that.
Well, it sort of has to be now that you guys have
He can't
this.
let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has to maintain it.
Well, it sounds funny. We don't want to be like, I drive a Civic, you drive a Civic, you drive a Jeep. I mean, it is not quite the same name.
Yeah, definitely not.
Let's welcome the Civics. No, I don't think so.
Do you guys sing the same songs that the Fun Center Chordsmen sing, or do you guys branch off with your own sort of fun?
Yes. we do take some of the chorus rep and we do make it part of our quartet rep, but I would say that's probably maybe less than a third of our rep is probably chorus rep. Over 2/3 of our rep is songs we found as a quartet and decided to take on as a quartet. So
I think I just put together a list just to kind of refresh it for us. And if you take everything, so that would be sacred, patriotic, our barbershop stuff, a cappella, we've got a rep about 38 songs right now. So,
and the nice thing is if we get requested for a gig and they want a certain song and the chorus sings that song, or they want a certain style and the chorus sings that song, because we're all four active in the chorus, it's not hard for us to, oh, hey, let's pull that together and see if we can sing it as a quartet.
Yeah. Sorry, sometimes when I do interviews, I get so interested in what people are saying, I forget to think of what's next. And we're having a lot of those moments tonight, and I'm very sorry, but be complimented.
thanks. That's good.
Can you guys perform a song for me,
sure.
and that'll give me a chance to catch up with my thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
What are we singing? Trevor's voice is going to dictate a little bit tonight,
Yeah.
I think. He's a track coach and had an outstanding track meet the other night by beating somebody he wanted to, which brought along a lot of yelling.
Oh,
So the
I
vocal
see.
cords got a little
They got a little
abused.
taxed.
Gotcha.
Why don't we do a little traditional and do Mary Lou?
Okay.
Pass me by one summer day, flash those big brown eyes my way, and oh, I wanted you forevermore. Now, baby, I'm not one that gets around, swear my feet stuck to the ground, and oh, I never did meet you before. I said, hello, Mary Lou.
Goodbye, heart.
Goodbye, heart.
I said,
Sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you.
I'm in love with Mary
I
Lou.
knew, Mary Lou,
That
we'd never part. So hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Goodbye, heart. saw your lips, I heard your voice screaming. I just had no choice but horse to make me stay away. Thought about it in midnight, arms around you, good and tight. That's all I need to see for me to stay. Hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. I said, sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I'm in love with Mary Lou. I knew, Mary Lou, we never part, we never part. So hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart, goodbye, heart. Hello, Mary Lou, I'm in love with you. Yes, hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Right from the start, I said hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart, goodbye, heart.
Wow, that was very impressive, especially the how long do you think you held that note there?
I have no idea.
Is it hard to practice holding it because you don't know how long because it depends on everyone else?
Yeah, the hardest part is just remembering to take a good deep breath before we get to that part in the song.
Sure. I feel like those long held notes, usually by a tenor or a bass in barbershop, is probably like the part that I always.
Well, I was going to say with your vocal spectrum and Tim
Yeah.
Warwick, when those guys lay 25, 30-second posts out there like that, and you're just,
Right.
how do you do that?
Yeah, well, they have the song Hercules or whatever it's called, and that's like my most favorite song to listen to because he holds it for like maybe 60 seconds.
it's crazy.
And he must be circular breathing or something.
Just good lung capacity.
Yeah, he's good. He's so good. Yeah, so that the end of the song there that you're talking about is what we call a tag.
Yes.
And that's very prominent in barbershop. It's the last, few bars of a song that just is obviously when you're listening, it's the bring me home part of the song. Like, here we go, we're coming to a close, and we as barbershoppers will stand around sometimes after rehearsals or after performances, and we'll tag sing, where we'll teach each other these little endings and just try to ring as many chords as humanly possible, and just we love doing it.
Is there like a little competition between you guys to see who can last longest?
Not usually. I'm not a very good poster when it comes
okay.
to, so whoever's holding the note out it's called the post. So I'm not very good at posting. There is one tag I can hold the post out for a pretty long time, but most of the time, it's Dan the man over
They
there.
seem to ask
posting.
me to do that quite a bit,
Gotcha.
and I don't mind at all.
Well, so it's what is it? It's Thursday night. We started talking at 7:00. That's when you guys practice. Do you guys practice weekly?
We practice pretty much every third week. Dan and I are younger and have young families, and so it's just a little bit harder for us to get away. So we used to practice every week when I first joined the quartet when we were competing, but now we're pretty much every 2 to 3 weeks usually.
I have competition questions for sure, but first let me ask, what's it like to practice on your own? Is that harder, or just talk to me a little bit about that? Because I know that when I was in an a cappella group and I was a high schooler, I didn't really do a whole lot of practicing on my own.
Bravada for a number of years had a coach by the name of Mark Stock. And we met with him every time we rehearsed. And he is a certified singing judge in the Barbershop Harmony Society. So a lot of what we know comes from the coaching that we got. But in the current arrangement of Bravada, with Jim with a degree in instrumental music and Trevor with a degree in vocal music, we've got 2 built-in coaches. So it's not difficult to rehearse because either one of them will tell you if Dan or I are sharp or flat, whatever the situation is. I won't say we couldn't benefit from a coach, but we've got 2 built in.
I gotcha. I guess what I'm asking, though, is like when you practice by yourselves, right? Sometimes, and I realize none of you guys are altos, but alto lines in a mixed choir sounds really horrible sometimes by themselves.
Yeah.
Do you ever like second guess yourselves? Talk me through
It's
how
like
you
the
do that.
baritone.
The choir teacher's laughing because he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
So coming from a position without a musical background and can read music a little bit, but I'm not like these guys. I will say that our quartet and our chorus specifically invests a lot of money in really good quality learning tracks. And with the learning tracks that we buy, you're able to kind of turn your part down or turn your part up. If you need to listen to it to memorize your notes, and then once you feel comfortable, you can kind of turn your line down and sing with it in a quartet fashion. And for someone who might be a little bit hesitant to get into a group because they don't feel confident, that's a great tool where you can sit in the car and you can just play with the balance back and forth, and you might look a little silly to the other people around you on the road, but if you got a lot of windshield time, you can really do a lot of practice, and I find that that's an enjoyable way for me to drive in the car, and that's where I get most of my work done.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that name of the game is figuring out a way to do it, and
Yeah,
car rides are easily the best place to make mistakes.
And the learning tracks are so good nowadays that you forget that you're listening to a track that's meant to teach you something. It just sounds, the quality is something that you would just listen to just for fun.
Right.
So, yeah, my commute's 30 minutes every day, one direction. So I go from Galion to Upper Sandusky for my employment. And again, I'm the same thing. I just put my iPhone in and turn on the track and just, again, whether it's the full mix, meaning I think I've got it down pretty good, I don't need support, or if I go to my part-specific track and really just be engaged. Now, obviously, I'm not reading the music because I'm driving, but it is a great way to get yourself up on a quick basis.
And back to your alto comment there of sounding really horrible on its own. RF here has a story that he always tells at quartet gigs about what his wife says when he's rehearsing the baritone part. Why don't you tell them that, RF?
When I first joined and I tried lead and it was too high, I tried bass, it was too low, so I wound up in baritone. Had I known what I was going to suffer as a baritone singer, I might not have gone that direction to start with. It's on a Monday night at rehearsal, I put the clock on Trevor from 7 o'clock when we start. The earliest he has ever said something derogatory in love and fun against the baritone is 10 minutes. The furthest he's gone is 50 minutes. But when I'm trying to learn the baritone part and I play the baritone predominant version on a learning track at home, my wife says, "What is that?" I said, "I'm learning the baritone line." She says, "Honey, I got to tell you, the baritone part all by itself really sucks."
As someone who sang baritone in my a cappella group, I totally understand that. Talk to me a little bit about competition. Pretend like people who are listening, which I'm hoping is most people, don't know anything about how competition when it comes to vocal contests go.
So when it comes to quartet competition, there's 2 nights for quartet competition. So the first night is Friday night, and each quartet brings out 2 songs. And a lot of the times they'll do a ballad and then an uptune, but it could be whatever. They could do 2 ballads or 2 uptunes if they wanted. They sing those 2 songs in front of the judges. Normally there's a panel of judges. There's 3 categories: presentation and music and singing. So those are the three categories. Normally there's 2 judges on each category, and they're giving you a rating. And then they tally up those ratings after the first night, and then the top 10 move on to the second night. And then they come on the second night with 2 other songs, and they compete with those. Same thing, and then they add up the total scores from both nights, and that is your breakdown of who wins and who's the top 10 from there.
How have you guys fared over the years?
Well, we haven't competed in recent years. 2010, I think, was
11, I think.
2010 or 11 was the last time we competed as a quartet. Our bass Bob Crowell was still with us. So in 2008 was the first time we won the novice championship. We were pumped up. We went and competed the next few years, but competition freaked some of us out, being on that stage and seeing those judges, and we walked off the stage the last time in 2011 or whatever, and we didn't talk to each other for 5 minutes because we were all frustrated with each other. And then once we calmed our heads down and were able to talk to each other, we all said we love singing barbershop, and we never want that to happen ever again. We love each other too much to even spend 5 minutes not talking to each other. So if competition is going to cause that, then let's not compete anymore and let's just have fun singing together. And so that's what we've been doing since.
Well, I mean, it's great that you guys are all sort of able to be on the same page like that. That's got to be sort of a frustrating 5 minutes there, for sure. I can understand that.
We've been on the competition stage as a chorus.
Yeah.
Most recently, I'm trying to think, when was Pittsburgh?
It would have been 2014, I think, is the
And then
last
you
time
went
we
to
competed.
Cincinnati.
Just before you took front.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different there too, because and I haven't experienced quartet competition yet. I can't imagine again the emotion or the feeling of you are the only voice.
Right.
Like when you're in the chorus, it's different when you have 5 baritones or 4 or tenors or whatever that somebody takes a breath or whatever. There's potentially always singing taking place, but quartet-wise, boy, it definitely raises the bar.
Now, I did college a cappella as well, and I know that competitions there, like it does a lot of things in terms of like performance, but visual performance as well. Is that involved with are you guys dancing, gyrating jazz hands, anything like that?
There's some movement on stage. I wouldn't say it's as your pop a cappella groups. It's not as much
pyramid building.
No. It's not as much as that. But there are definitely some moves that happen. There's some minor choreography, if you will, but because the way the mics are set up and the stage is kind of set up, there's no marching across the other side of the stage, and unless sometimes a comedy quartet, you never know what they're going to do. Sometimes they'll go crazy.
Right. So as I mentioned earlier when we first began the podcast, I'm with 3 Hall of Famers, Jim, Trevor, and RF. And that's a pretty big deal because it's really hard to do. Talk to me a little bit about what that means to be a fun Center Chordsmen Hall of Famer.
Most barbershop chapters always select a barbershopper of the year. And that's laid out pretty much for the members to say who, in their opinion, deserves to be barbershopper of the year. It got to the point where myself, as an example, I was the barbershopper of the year my first year and my second year back to back. And that didn't sit well with some people. So to make a long story short, for the 5 or 6 years that Doug Smeltz was our director, he said, let's not let that happen again. So he suggested the Hall of Fame. And there were certain guidelines that a group with Doug put together that says, first off, you must have been selected as a barbershopper of the year. And then the barbershoppers of the year determine who it is that's going to be in the Hall of Fame for the first year. And there were 5 of us elected in 2013 to the Hall of Fame. That says that you have gone over and above and beyond regular membership in the chapter, regardless of what your elected or appointed position was. You have to have done something to say, hey, that guy does a lot. He does this, he does this, he does this. It's not expected. As an example, when Trevor came in, I think he got it before you did, Jim.
Yeah.
What he did as a member of the chorus, and then he was a assistant director, and then he was a co-director, and none of that was paid. He just did it. What he did behind the scenes and for the chorus on a Monday night got him considered for the Barbershop of the Year and ultimately the Hall of Fame. When we got Jim, and I say we got him because we put him in a circle at his church after he ran the sound system for a performance of ours and sang some tags, and that hooked him as well. In his first year, we twisted his arm and he became president of the chapter. And he held that position for 4 years. He is our social media manager. We are all over social media because of Jim. It's not an elected position. It's just something that he brought to the table and he could do. Obviously, that qualified him as to be considered for the Hall of Fame. In the chorus, there are 5 or 6 members that are Hall of Famers, and every year the Hall of Famers look at all of the barbershoppers of the year that qualify and say, does someone qualify or do they not?
Very cool. Would you guys mind singing another song for me?
Sure.
How about a little moon dance? Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance neath the cover of October skies. And all the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow. And I'm trying to please to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. and all the night magic seems to whisper and hush, and all the soft moonlight seems to shine in your blush. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the evening is come, and I know that the time is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. And when you come, my arms will be waiting to be sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. And every time I touch you, you just tremble inside. And I know how much you want me, that you can't hide. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love?
Tumba tum 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 be on a magic night with you. I'd love to go with you, babe, on a magic night with you, babe. Ba tum ba tum ba 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 do da ba ba tum 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 da ba tum tum ba do da ba ba tum 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 da ba tum tum ba do da ba ba tum 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 da ba tum ba do da ba.
Can't I just have one more moon dance with you, my love?
That was great. Thank you so much for singing that one. That was a lot of fun. Is that like, one of your favorites to sing? Or, I mean, you guys were snapping and dancing.
Yeah, it's definitely one of mine. A few years ago, we were just kind of in a rut of what to do next, and
Sure.
so we said, bring in a piece you want to do. And my college quartet messed around with that when I was in college, and I don't think we ever performed it, but we just messed around with it, and I loved it. And back then, I actually was singing tenor in my quartet, but so that was the piece I brought to the table. I was like, guys, this really isn't barbershop. This is vocal jazz. So you're in for a ride. And they were like, you are completely right. They had never sang anything that jazzy before. And it took us a while. We found some learning tracks. That took us a while to find those, but we found some learning tracks. And I'd say we spent probably 12 months before it was pretty much performance ready on that song.
But that's good, though. I mean, it's always fun to sort of grow a new muscle, right?
Yes.
I mean, even like when it comes to like me playing the guitar and stuff in my band, like there are certain things that suck going through and learning it, but when it's done, you're kind of like, mechanics, that's better. So talk to me about any upcoming gigs that you guys have coming up. I know you guys already said your final show of the year was coming up, but hopefully you have something.
Well, I'll just kind of go through chorus-wise right now. So we are big supporters of Memorial Day here in Mansfield downtown, and of course we are of all veteran-related activities. So we'll be singing at the gazebo there on Memorial Day about 11 o'clock. Then we're headed to singing at Harmony Camp for the Johnny Appleseed District, I guess you might call that. It's down at Mount Vernon, Nazarene University. It's kind of the kickoff night. There's about 300 high school students and middle school students from around Ohio that will attend that. And, looking for some free entertainment. So several of the chapters of the Johnny Appleseed District, which there's about 45 chapters, will come and perform there. So we'll be singing on that one. Quartet-wise, we're kind of off the grid a little bit right now. We have this one place in just out this side of Upper Sandusky called the White Shutter Winery and Brewery, and we sing there usually 2 times a year. Once at Christmas as part of their Christmas kind of sing, and then we come back in the summer. They have a wonderful outdoor kind of facility. This year they've added a new stage and whatnot, and we're going to sing there June 28th and July 15th, and we'll be back again sometime in August. As part of their concert series, they run entertainment every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night throughout the entire summer. So it's a pretty active place. And we're working on a gig right now up in Port Clinton at Catawba, but the beach club there. So we're just trying to finalize some details on that. What else am I missing? Do a lot of the assisted living nursing homes because, again, it kind of fits the genre and the people. We take a little bit more of the traditional music into that setting.
I'm sure they love the sacred stuff as well.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it. But again, anything that comes out with veterans. We have a big veterans salute on Veterans Day, the Monday most closest to Veterans Day. Well received. We do that at the First Congregational Church, and we love supporting our veterans.
And here soon, the chorus, we always, every summer, we throw the guys' churches' names in a hat who we haven't sung at, and we always pick one or two churches just to go sing at their church for free over the summer. And so we take 3 to 5 religious songs and be a part of their worship service for that Sunday.
Yeah, and then we have another thing too. So chapters like to get together, and we have some brothers over in Canton that came to us last year. So we think it would only be right for us to in turn travel to Canton. We're going to do that towards the end of May. We did that with our brothers in Marion, Ohio. There's a chapter over there, and then there's the female version of this, Sweet Adelines. There's a chapter down in Mount Vernon, the Dogwood Blossoms, and I'm working with their director right now on just trying to coordinate an activity so we can get out of our realm and out of our own little cubicle there and go sing with the guys that do the same thing that we do, maybe a little bit differently or whatever, but we share a lot of things in common, so we look forward to that.
And a lot of times the quartet will also perform on the chorus performances too. So if we're out in the public and there's a quartet available, any of the 3-chapter quartets will jump in and sing one too.
Yeah, we got a big gig coming up in Gallion in November, first Sunday in November, 2 o'clock. They have a concert series that's being funded now by a choral director at Gallion High School of, 40 years. And when he passed away, he had a endowment fund created to support the bringing of entertainment to the town of Gallion. So that's a full hour gig. So that requires really our quartets to be available because to ask the membership to sing for 60 minutes, a lot of rep, a lot of standing, a lot of, drag on the vocal cords because that's a lot of singing, for guys.
How many different quartets are there in amongst the Fun Center Chordsmen?
There's 4. 3 are very active. One is in the process of rebuilding because they lost their baritone. But Bravada, of course. Then there's Home Edition, and there's Good Company. All 3 of those are actively involved in their own performances. And each of those quartets set their own rates. And the 4th one that's under the rebuild is called Cordially Yours. They're able to put together a quartet to go out and do Singing Valentines, but they're in a rebuilding process right now. But may I run a commercial by you?
Absolutely.
For those who are listening, I want you to come down and join us on a Monday night just to be exposed to what goes on. And if you're wondering about whether you can't sing, we've got 2 guys here with us tonight that are there every Monday night that can teach you. And we promise that if we know you can't sing, we'll tactfully suggest that you find another hobby. But I can guarantee you that these 2 guys, Jim and Trevor, can help you learn to sing what we so much enjoy. Dan is my neighbor. He lives right next door. And when I first invited him, he says he can't sing. He said he doesn't want to stand out. I said, in a chorus, we don't want you to stand out. Just come and sing. He said, okay, so I don't bug him anymore. He came down and he's hooked. So anybody listening, we want to invite you down. And I have to tell you this because if I don't, Jim Fry will get on me. Within the Barbershop Harmony Society.
Yes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes, Trev.
Here it comes.
Every performance.
Please tell the story.
Hey,
yes.
it's something worth bragging about because not every chapter can say this. In the Barbershop Harmony Society, there's approximately 600 choruses the size of the Fun Center Chords. And within those 600 choruses, there's 1,000 directors and assistant directors. Trevor took over the frontline director of the Fun Center Chordsmen in 2015. He has been to the CDWI, or Chorus Directors Workshop Intensive. He's been to the Harmony University Directors College for 4 or 5 years, and he qualified in 2017 as a certified director. And that doesn't mean a whole lot until you realize that on those 1,000 directors, only 60 or 6% have earned the coveted title of certified director. And this past year, he was selected as the Director of the Year for the entire Johnny Appleseed District. Now, that's going to cost somebody something, me probably. But the point I'm making is that we have highly qualified people leading the Fun Center Chordsmen that can help you learn what you need to learn in order to have fun the same as we do.
Where do they come to, Bob? Because you've invited them, but they have no idea where they're going. Where do they go to on Monday nights?
Oh, that would help, wouldn't it? The First Congregational Church at the corner of Marion Avenue and Millsboro Road, kind of behind the Art Center. We start at 7 o'clock, and you can come and be part of it for any length of time. We normally go till 9:30, but if you get tired of it and want to leave early, that's fine too. But believe me, if you get hooked the way Dan Crow did, you'll want to stay for the whole thing.
That was a fantastic, I'm sure not quite off-the-cuff commercial for the Fun Center Chordsmen. I liked it a lot. Talk to me a little bit about the social media stuff that you run.
Well, we take the two big boys of Facebook and Twitter.
Sure.
Instagram, Snapchat. I don't know if it necessarily is in our wheelhouse. Not too many people, I think, on Snapchat are going to really care about old dudes getting together to sing some music. But social media and Facebook and Twitter, we know are out there, and everybody is. And of course, Facebook at its beginning stage, a college kind of platform, but now college kids don't want to do it because every mom and dad and grandpa are on it now, right? So they left that. But we know it's a free way to get the word out, and it's a means that nobody has to do anything because it's a push technology, right? So it just comes to them as long as they check their app or their Facebook page and Twitter. So I try to keep it as a variety of things, obviously to let people know upcoming events. It can be some things of just a picture of a Monday night rehearsal and look at the fun that we're having. It's a way to create an event and then have that kind of out there so people can, mark that they're interested or they're going, and it helps us kind of tracks a little bit, like not necessarily analytics, but, just get some general feeling of what the vibe is on this. So we just know it's a part of today's world. You got to use that social media technology. And again, if that's where the students potentially are going to also find us, through social media, I don't think they're going to pick the newspaper up because they just don't, because their news comes to them from their smartphones. So
where they read Richland Source, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got it right here on mine if you need a little plug. But it's fun. Just try to make it lighthearted and engaging. We know it's a thing like a web page where if you don't push stuff out, then people aren't going to follow you anymore and they'll just delete it. So
can you tell us your handle and
your username? So Facebook, we're just Facebook.com/Fun Center Chordsmen, all spelled out, and same thing for Twitter. Our handle is just Fun Center Chordsmen. So if you search for that,
Fun Center
Chords, right? We don't have the men on the edit because of the naming at the time. But Fun Center Chordsmen, Facebook, Fun Center Chords, Twitter handle. That's where we're at.
Okay, fantastic. And then finally, talk to me about Valentine's Day, because I don't know if I want to get rid of all of my secrets, but that's when we met at the Phoenix Brewing Company after you guys had finished your you'll tell us what you were doing that day.
Valentine's Day for us is a blast. We have one of our biggest fundraisers, our Singing Valentines, where, male or female can buy a Valentine from us, where we will show up and sing a song and deliver a card and some candy. Our quartet is very active. I think we did 27 just this past February, which is a full day, but an absolutely fun day for us and for everyone that we show up and deliver our Valentines to. They really enjoy it. How
do people get a hold of you to participate or have someone else be participated with?
We usually do quite a big push. Like I said, it's one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. We'll have radio advertisements and pushing it out through our social media and word of mouth as well. I think one of the most effective ways we have of selling Valentines is asking people, asking your friends and family. But as word grows and as people, as we go around and we deliver these Valentines, you're going to run into people in the public who witness it happening and see how effective it was. And we get a lot of customers that way too. Just saying, hey, can you stop over at this place where my girlfriend's working? And we make a few phone calls and deliver that Valentine as well. So it truly is just a great experience to be involved with.
Yeah, and you said phone calls too. We do singing Valentines over the phone. So if you've got a grandma in California or a relation or a sister or whatever, at a reduced rate, because obviously you're not delivering as much of the package, we have a handful of that stuff too. So
I know that you guys came, I think, 2 years ago maybe to Tracy Geibel, who her fiance. That may have been the first time we met, but we really met over some beers. I'm having a blast, and I'm out of questions. So could I ask you guys to sing one more song before we clear out?
One more song. Well, that's the name of the song.
One more song.
One more song.
All right.
One more song, let's sing one more song, let the memories linger on and on, till we meet, and sing one more song, one more song.
Nice. I like how you put that little crack on the end.
That was a tiddly. Or a need of a drink of water.
Well, we can go do that right now. Thank you guys so much for
Hey,
joining
thank
me on
you.
the Open Mic Podcast. I had
Thank
an
you.
absolute blast.